You know, I'll be honest. I really thought hard about a joke for the start of this video. Um, but yeah, I couldn't come up with one, no matter how hard I tried. So let's just start, I guess. Oh, and this video isn't about bricks, like, at all, so I'm sorry. I'll post my apology video later when people actually get mad at me about it. So let's get into a topic that might make me a top 5 hated person in the world. The Palestine-Israel conflict has a lot of history to it, not just in modern times, but also in ancient times as well. To unpack all of that would probably take around a couple of days, so I'll more or less be giving a synopsis of what's going on and what has happened. Just a disclaimer out there, I might not be the best person to do this. I'm not from either place, nor do I really have any connections to either side. The only technical connection that I might have is that my grandparents from my dad's side were from Lebanon, but I never got to actually meet them, and my dad raised me without any prejudice towards anyone ever in the world. So while I might not be the best person to tell the history of this conflict, I will do my best to give like a factual and equal representation of what's going on. Pretty much what I'm trying to say is I'm not going to be biased. Now, with that out of the way, and I won't get sued, what is the Palestine-Israel conflict? Essentially, the conflict waters down to who should live in the area. The Palestinians believe that only they should live in the area, and the Israelis believe the opposite. There are two reasons why they believe this. It's based off historical and religious reasons as to who should live in the area, and it's based off a couple of different declarations in the 19th, 20th, and centuries. I will not be touching the religious sides of the story because I am not great with religious texts and religion, so yeah. But I will cover the history that starts in the 19th and 20th centuries. So for the majority of the history, both the Jews and Arabs have claimed the area around where Israel currently is. But the Arabs have been the one in control of this area for most of the time. They weren't really like tyrannical rulers, but sometimes they could be strict in letting people of other religions, specifically Jews, practice their religion. And the Jewish people have obviously lived in Europe for the majority of the centuries, being used mostly as scapegoats for a lot of different countries and empires. Eventually, after all this time, the Allied powers during World War I decided that public relations and tricking people were important, so they went to the Arabs and told them that if they rebelled against the Ottoman Empire, they could have their freedom. They were like, I bet, cool. Then the British Empire went and released the Balfour Declaration. What is the Balfour Declaration? Well, wait a minute, I'm about to explain it, Jesus Christ. The Balfour Declaration is a public statement released by the British government advocating for a quote-unquote national home for the Jewish people. This was going to be in Palestine. So the war ended, and all of a sudden the British and French decided that being good on their promises was like not cool, and decided to take over most of the Arab Peninsula for themselves. They also didn't do good on their declaration to the Jewish people. People were upset over this, yeah, but for the most part nobody really heard their complaints in the British or French government, or even really around the world. The next stop on our journey is World War II. I know, really far. I don't have to actually get into what happened during this war for you to know the reason why the Jewish people actually got to go to Palestine. Let's just say it rhymes with Bala Wast. So after this war, the United States and a few other countries came together and just kind of forced their way into Palestine for the Jewish people. Like, not with military means, they just kind of landed there and said, we're here. Although a lot of Jewish people had already lived in Palestine for many centuries, and even more came during World War II. The Palestinians and other Arab countries came together to get rid of them, or at least to make the Palestinians the main governing people, and tried to fight the Israelis. Long story short, they lost a couple of wars. Eventually, through treaties, you get the borders we have today, but a lot of people want something different. Well, the majority of people believe something needs to change, but there's a lot of variety of what should be done. There are a lot of different proposed solutions to this problem, but I won't be listing them because if decades of governments can't come up with a solution, I'm sure a 19-year-old guy living in America won't be able to either. Nor would anybody even listen to me. I mean, I wouldn't listen to them. So that's mostly the history of the Israel-Palestine conflict. I tried to tell it in the most unbiased way possible, but I'm sure people are still going to get mad at me. Since this is such a long topic and I really don't want to make this into like a 20 to 30 minute video, I'll give a few links to sources in the description that I think give a mostly unbiased view of the conflict. But if you liked the video, hit the like button, subscribe to catch the next one. I'll hopefully catch you guys next time. Peace. Man, I hope this doesn't give me a lot of hate.